In this episode, we'll take a look at one of my favorite free resources, cardboard. We can use cardboard for cutting mats when you're using blades. We can use cardboard for hot glue mats to protect your countertops. We can use it for paint palettes. We can use it for weaving looms, or even just pieces of it to create a 3D effect in different projects. Okay, now let's go get the goods. I'm Renae Greene, and I'm an elementary and intermediate art teacher in South Central Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Art of Education University's Zero Budget Art Room, where we celebrate your ingenuity and help you make the most of your budget, all while spending zero out of pocket. We'll be discussing which boxes are the best and where to snag them, tools that take away all of the struggle with cutting cardboard, and other awesome uses in the art room. So we're gonna take a little walk to a few different spots to see if there are any copy paper boxes, good boxes that we can cut out, cardboard rounds from like pizza in the cafeteria, and we're also gonna check for bulletin board paper rolls. And we're gonna check 2 copy rooms too. Okay, this is our first spot. This is where they recycle all of the cardboard, well, where it goes before they take it outside to actually recycle it. All right, so here is cardboard that they have broken down, which we're definitely gonna grab some of this. I see cardboard rounds. So these come from the cafeteria. So that was 32 pizza rounds just right there. And I'll do this once a week. And then in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I'll be ready for a full project with pizza rounds. So now we're gonna look for boxes and thin cardboard that is easy for students to manipulate and cut. There's more pizza rounds too. Now we have 35. And I'm gonna grab this strawberry container too, because I feel like these work like box lids from copy paper boxes, and they're just good for storing things and paper. And now we're gonna filter through here and see if there's anything we can nab. Okay, and I dig deep in these bins that are almost as tall as me, because at the bottom, you'll still find really thin cardboard. Let's go. Okay, there's one copy box we're gonna grab. Okay, there was no lid for it, but that's okay. So now we're gonna go check another copy room downstairs, and maybe we'll find a lid there. So we're in the room that has copiers and laminators and bulletin board paper rolls. So I always check here for the inner tubes because they're great for building armatures. I don't see any inner tubes here. Usually they're just like laying. We're gonna just check the laminator real quick too. There's 2, haha. And we'll just check for any lids. But I'm gonna steal this one. And now, shh. But I might unload the few reams of paper that are in this box so I can take it. So this is what I just grabbed from there. It just takes a little bit of hunting around your school to find great pieces of cardboard to use for projects. Okay, so I wanna go through where I put this because it goes in my closet. So my closet looks disorganized, but is actually organized, I promise. So back here, I have a container for the pizza rounds. I have a bigger container for broken down cardboard. These 4 bins are used cardboard. And back here is like this bag full of just inner tubes. And if you're looking for more ways to use cardboard and the many benefits it has in the art room, we have some links for you. Listen to an episode of Everyday Art Room called Cardboard Creations, or read an article called An Art Teacher's Love Letter to Cardboard, 12 Uses for Cardboard over on the magazine. And watch how to make a cardboard holder using PVC over on Art Room Makeover. We'll drop all these links in the description box below. All right, we obviously grabbed a lot of cardboard and I don't need any more, but I do want to share some other pieces worth grabbing. There's something that we all have in the art room that is so worth saving, and I never throw them out. I forget the actual name of it, but it's like that thicker but thin yet piece of cardboard, and I save these. I have a whole cabinet full of like a big bag that has a ton of these because these are always useful. So now that we nabbed all the cardboard, let's talk about what we can do with it. There's so many kinds of cardboard you can grab, and there's so many projects you can do with cardboard. So last year we created onomatopoeias, and we went down this whole dive of pop art. So students created multiple layers of designed and painted paper, and then they just stacked pieces of cardboard to create that 3D effect. All I do for that is literally cut my cardboard into strips and then put the strips at the tables, and the kids cut the pieces that they need to stack. And we also can't forget about these paper towel rolls. These are great for also creating low relief projects too, which I want to share. So we're gonna cut these up and create a design with them. All right, and then from here, it's just painting and finishing however you are choosing to do that for your class. Spray painting is also a great option too to get all of the sides. So my students also use cardboard for the base of their foil relief projects. So we'll use recycled cardboard for the back, and then they'll build the relief on top with yarn. But the results are always incredible, and it costs me so little. And then from here, we will just color with permanent marker. And then I don't have to buy metal tooling, which I do love, but my budget doesn't always afford. You can also use it as the base for a yarn painting. So this is just, again, a 5x7 piece of cardboard that I cut and created our string art on top of. This is a great way to use up that string, and also an inexpensive way instead of having to put it on like a canvas board. I found that I can go further with my budget if I buy skeins of yarn and then I am just putting it into a box that I create. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is create 6 sections within this box. So I need 3 pieces of cardboard to go in the middle to create those divisions. And to do that, we're gonna go grab some of those flat broken down boxes that we just nabbed. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold one of the edges of my piece of cardboard so that it goes into my box like this. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put a little bit of hot glue right here just to hold this in place. All right, so our divider is in place, and now we are gonna put the 2 pieces that are gonna go horizontally. And when we put our yarn in, we're gonna wanna make cuts right about where our skeins are gonna go. Now we're gonna take our yarn and put it in the divider and then send the ends of the string through the holes we just created. Not hard for the kids and no mess for you. I'll also use cardboard as a way to organize string pieces that the students cut but aren't big enough to put in the string organizer box that we created. I'll cut pieces of cardboard and then have kids that are early finishers wrap random string around it, and it serves as a way to keep it neat, and it's also flatter, which I appreciate because it takes up less space too. And using cardboard to make looms is a great option when you want to include fiber arts in your program and maybe you have the yarn or you can afford some yarn but not both. You can simply make the looms. So I think I cut roughly 100 looms out of cardboard, and they worked fabulously. And so when you're talking about making a loom out of cardboard, and I'm just gonna measure out every 1/2 inch. And once those lines are drawn, you are just gonna cut. And then your students are just gonna set up their warp right in between these cuts that you made. It may be hard for the first group of students to do this because they're freshly cut and they haven't been spaced or pushed apart by yarn, but it will get easier over time for them. Now I do get questions on what scissors I use because a lot of us are just cutting cardboard with scissors, and that's totally okay. These are typically the scissors that I will have them cut cardboard with. So they are slightly larger than the scissors that I have at my elementary level. These seem to navigate really well through cardboard as well, just because they have a little bit more, I think, bite, like when the kids push down with them. There have been times where we've done a whole cardboard project and just used these scissors and gotten by totally okay when we didn't have other things like canary cutters or blades. You can only get so far when you're cutting around curves with regular scissors because there's certain points where it's just very hard to get into. And this just allows you to turn the cardboard or turn your wrist and navigate all of those areas. There's a lot I love about a canary cutter. I love that they have a lid. It's easy for distribution and you can keep them right on the table and not have to worry. My students found a lot of ease with this. These are essential for cardboard. This is an electric cardboard cutter, and I swear by this thing. I once embarked on cutting roughly 300 paint palettes out of cardboard for my first grade students by hand with scissors. And then I was like, I need something better. And I went online, and this was the best, I wanna say like 20 or 30 bucks I ever spent. I will say it is great at going around turns, but they do have to be wider turns. You're not gonna get into a really small crevice. And one thing I forgot to mention is that this is completely rechargeable. So it just plugs in to the wall to charge. So you don't need any batteries, which is something that I love because I never have batteries and then I'm like hunting them down around the school. So I love rechargeable things. You just have to make sure that you're gonna charge it when you need it. That is also maybe another place where I fail a little bit. So what I've done is I have just traced the shape on my cardboard, and I'm gonna show you how this cuts. So you can see that that is obviously much quicker than if I had to do this by hand. Just in tight areas here, you just want to be careful because you're not going to be able to get that small turn. And we have a few more of these to cut, so we're going to do that now. Remember, just because items are cheap or super affordable does not mean that you need to buy them. There are a lot of ways to secure what you want and need for your students in classroom and still spend zero out of pocket. So stay tuned for our last episode where we talk all about asking for help. All right, so we've gone through my obsession with my electric cardboard cutter, but smaller areas that I might need more detail in or where I might need to do like a more sharp turn, I will resort to my blade. So I will just set up a blade on top of a little thicker piece of cardboard, and I will use that to cut those areas too. This obviously may have different rules for your schools. Our school does allow it with our older students. We do go through like a very obviously big safety talk before we begin using them. So this is the cardboard that I would use for my cutting mat on my counter. And I feel like this is going to always be my go-to for when I am having the kids cut because it's just a little bit thicker. And you are totally protected from your blade hitting your counter space. We're good. So I personally have never been able to justify buying a cutting mat when I can use cardboard and it is free and it will provide me the same protection that I need for my space. So one of my go-to uses for cardboard simply protects my counter so I don't have to scrape up globs of hot glue at the end of the day. I put one of these down and then I take my hot glue gun and I'll set them just like that. So I will typically set up that station, but 5 times all the way down my counter space here. If you're enjoying all these tips and tricks, please check out Pro Learning, which is an on-demand PD for art teachers that features hands-on tutorials, resources, and strategies. And if you're a Pro member, we have a pack all about running an art room on a minimal budget. And if you're not a Pro member, head on over to our website, which we'll link in the description box down below for more information on how to get Pro for your district. And I just want to quickly share the cardboard my students have been using for paint palettes. So when they're painting and we're going to be mixing colors, I will use pieces of cardboard. That's my go-to because we don't have to clean it out. We don't have to wash it. We can let it dry and then use the backside. So here are the palettes that were used the other day in class. And it's really easy for the students to mix on it. And I also feel like it keeps them from mixing too much because there's not divots where they can pour a bunch of paint. So we also can't forget that you can use cardboard to act as the base for lightweight sculptures. We'll be talking about these Charles McGee sculptures that use cardboard as their base in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching episode 1. If you have a way that you use cardboard for an alternative use in your classroom that wasn't discussed here today, please share it down below and make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss an episode in our series. Our next episode will focus on a ton of different projects all centered around cardboard, so stay tuned.